What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Backline Gear Review. I'm your host, Chief Redbeard, and obviously, as normal, I am joined alongside my two very good friends, Nico and Will Bob, and we had another fantastic episode today. First off, I want to thank all of you guys for sharing, subscribing, liking, commenting on our posts. All of that means the world to us, and we really, really do appreciate it. If you guys could keep that up. We're at 80 subscribers as of the filming of this. We would like to try to get to 100, hopefully by the end of the month. We're going to try it. We'll see what happens, but they're all, you guys sharing, you guys talking about it really, really helps us, and we really, really do appreciate it. Just want to go over a quick couple talking points in this episode. Talked about a couple different instruments that are out there. One that's really, really unique that I really, really like called the Koto. If you've ever heard of it as a Japanese instrument, you hear more about that on the channel. Also, talk about Soundgarden and some drama going on with them, as well as Mr. Brian May of Queen, one of our favorite bands, had a little bit of an accident over the weekend. So we really, really appreciate you guys, and we want to thank you and enjoy the show. At first, it looked like you were just drowning a rock.
It's the most AFK thing you could do in the game, and that's why it makes the least amount of money, because it's just like, I'm going to click, all right, let's go see what's going on the old MySpace there.
So the more effort you put into your crafts, the more you make.
Nope. What's that? What is that?
It's a back scratcher.
Oh. Okay.
What?
No, it's just kind of really. I haven't seen one of those since I was a child, and my overweight uncle needed it to scratch, his between his shoulder blades.
I like back scratches. I ain't got no female nails out here to do it for me.
Are you trying to call me overweight? Because I certainly have one of those as well.
He's got two.
I've got two, yeah.
What you saying, Nico?
Do you have one?
Ooh, this is my bad boy one. This thing will literally scratch you, and it is amazing.
All right, Billy, now, do you have this item?
Wow.
Yeah, well, do you have, what do I got around here?
We got PRSs, Nico. We definitely do.
How about you talk about the cool...
You have that? You don't have that?
What is that?
Is it Lego?
Armani Granger. You don't have that.
I can't even... It looks like Hagrid.
It's Hermione Granger. Hold on.
It looks like a
show it
butt
to this
plug.
camera.
There we go.
Bro,
okay, yeah, now I'm seeing it. It had a very weird curvature. Oh my god. What's a nice sign behind you? I like that. Where's the...
Yeah, did you steal it from outside?
Story on that?
No, what happened? My sister's boyfriend was like going through his garage or something, and he used to get like a bunch of signs from like liquor stores that they would give out, and he was just getting rid of some of it. And I'm gonna actually send this. It's Yingling Light, which I didn't even know there was a Yingling Light. That's kind of
never heard of that.
The purpose of a light logger. But I'm gonna send it over to my buddy Wilson in Chicago because he can't even. It's his favorite beer, and he can't even get Yingling over there. So I was like, oh,
none at all.
At least I'll send this. Yeah, nothing.
It's
weird.
It's like a Northeast thing.
I think so. Yeah, it has
Can't
to
get
be.
it in the Midwest or on pretty much.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
I think I'm gonna drench it in Yingling Light, and he'll lick it up.
The only thing I don't like about the sign is Anakin killed a bunch of Yinglings, and it's just, it's kind of fucked up that you got it there. But RIP to all the Yingling lights that Anakin killed, and
that's when you knew he was evil.
that is the exact moment when he killed the Yinglings.
I'm gonna let you sit in that right now.
Okay. I'll tell you what I can sit on. In other news,
your fatherhood showing, Billy.
I want to talk about something real quick. So you guys are familiar with who Soundgarden is. I think even episode 1 or 2, Nico thought I said Soundgarden when it was Alice in Chains.
Right.
Soundgarden,
like
Chris Cornell, also the singer of Audio Slave. So that'll help you, Nico, if you aren't familiar with his music, since your band does cover an Audio Slave song.
Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. So the surviving members of Soundgarden are basically countersuing his wife. So to kind of backtrack a little bit, Chris Cornell's widow decided to sue the band for royalty rights on some unreleased music that she claims that Chris Cornell basically did most of the writing, or if not all the writing, rather. And along with basically those songs belong to Chris Cornell. So she feels it belongs to the estate, which is basically her. So she sued the band, and I don't think this has gone to trial or anything yet. I think this was a recent thing back sometime last year. So Soundgarden is actually countersuing her at the moment, claiming that she used funds from a 2019 benefit concert for her own personal purposes.
Ooh.
So basically, there is a benefit concert in Cornell's name, and I believe they said it raised like, let me see, I think it's millions of dollars that they claim it basically drew within profits there, and then they're saying that basically she took a bunch of the money and used it for whatever the hell she wanted instead of actually donating it to charity, because it was a charity event in his honor. And then so they called it fraudulent inducement. She did not have the intentions of using some or all the revenue from Chris Cornell's concert for charitable purposes, but rather for personal purposes for herself and her family. So in other words, I guess, they got some kids and shit like that. And she said, well, he's not here anymore. This is in his name, so I guess this money goes to me. Which hopefully, if that's the truth, I hope they win, because that's kind of fucked up. For those that aren't familiar, Chris Cornell killed himself a couple of years back. I believe he hung himself. And it was like an accidental thing in a way. Basically, he was on some kind of mood stabilizers, and his bodyguard or whoever it was, I think the story is a bodyguard or somebody, gave him too much of a dose, and it really fucked up his mind and had really no idea what was going on. And then he ended up committing suicide in his hotel room after a show. Or before a show, one of the two. So I guess I did this benefit concert for him. Lost a lot of singers over the years due to drugs or some type of suicidal thing. And so, yeah, it's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I guess fraudulent inducement. You said that term. I never heard that. It kind of sounds
me either.
Like,
that was a new one for me.
I thought it would have been like embezzling or something, but yeah, I mean, I guess she would have had control over it over his sake, but I guess the band just never did anything about it. Going, well, she's grieving, whatever. She gave some away, but then with her being like, I'm going to sue the band to make more money. They're like, all right, you know what? I'm going to say something. That's how it sounds like. Like, all right, we got ammo. We didn't say anything before, but we're going to come out with it now.
Yeah, fraudulent inducement sounds like a metal band, like a lawyer's in, like on his off time.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I think
definitely lawyer terms. We
are.
You're not going to be able to understand this, but just know that we are countersuing her for big words that the average person may not understand. The average person listening to Soundgarden is probably not going to understand that.
That fucking
And if you
sucks.
do, I mean, no offense to you. Yeah. So it's crazy.
Why?
It's a band that's trying to move on. They're trying to do their thing. She decides to sue them. And now, obviously they're looking at it going, hey, you did some fucked up shit. Like, we're going to countersue you. And instead of being able to move on and really, be able to kind of preserve a good life of Cornell, I've seen this multiple times. I want to say that Linkin Park singer Chester Bennington, is that his name? Bennington,
yeah.
His wife was involved in a similar situation, if I'm not mistaken. So It seems to happen. The husband dies, and then the wife, in some way, I don't want to sound
a little bit more out of him,
right? I don't want to sound like that and say that they're always after something, but unfortunately, sometimes that is the case. And it's just a little sad that that's how eventually. It seems like that's how they want people to be remembered. Is not they had this amazing life, amazing career, whatever the hell happened, and then the only thing we could talk about now, instead of how good he was how crazy the situation is with his wife.
His former wife or widowed wife.
Right.
I like it. I like when art that I enjoy turns into lawsuits.
Shit show.
And
Drama.
It just becomes a complete intellectual property, and like something that instead of something that's, supposed to make you feel a certain way, it just becomes like this fucking dollar sign. I like it. I'm a fan. It's capitalism, dude.
That's what Ghost try to avoid. They try to be anonymous, but then one of the members was like, I'm not being credited. And it's like, that's the point. We're anonymous. And then they took it to court. So only one member presented themselves to fight against it, and they won.
They were arguing because they didn't get... What?
They didn't get recorded as being a writer for it, but it's like there's no mention of any writers on any material Ghost makes. They're an anonymous band.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what their whole shtick is. But someone, I guess, once the songs got popular, as they became popular, one of the former members that quit was just kind of like, this is fucked up. I'm not getting any money out of this. Like, what's going on? You know, so he tried to take him to court, and then only one member presented himself, and he's known as the overarching producer for the whole thing, like puts it all together musically and stuff. Whether someone else came up with the riffs or not, no one's credited. You know,
What a fuckface. I don't understand that at all.
I've heard that before.
yeah, but when he came to court, it was like he showed himself, and then based on the facts that there's absolutely no record of anybody with any material, no proof. Like he didn't, come with material that shows proof on a dated stamp of I don't know what you could prove actually, MP3 recording and the timestamp on it, but you can forge that too. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you should be. I would think if you're going to do something, you would have something to prove in the event of that. I think there was a big thing a long time ago with an ex of our favorite artist, Taylor Swift. He was a ghostwriter and she was a ghostwriter. They both wrote a song for somebody else. I can't remember who it was, but I want to say, and I could be completely fucking wrong and making this whole story up, but I'm pretty sure it went, he kind of came out and then I kind of forced her out. So then the whole ghost thing was gone. There was no anonymity anymore involved in that situation. And I think it caused a lot of shit, even worse. And I think it was because they had split up. He said, hey, fuck you. I'm going to go get my credit where credit is due. And then it turned into a shit show. But I don't get the ghostwriting. Just tell people,
well,
it's a bit that's overplayed.
It's music.
It's a bit that's overplayed.
Like in a modern day, it's really hard to achieve. And, even they proved it's too hard to do.
I'm sorry if I wrote especially a hit or even just something that I'm super fucking proud of. And if it's out there, I'm obviously proud of it. I'm going to tell people I fucking wrote it. Like mainly because I don't write a whole lot. So if I ever do and it's out there, I'm like, fuck yes, I wrote this. Are you kidding me? This is my masterpiece. This is my life's work right here.
You want credit for things, dude? That shows a lot about you, man. It's like you only care about you don't even want to do things. You just want the consequence of doing things, man. Do you even care, dude?
No.
Do you want a free handout, man?
Yes.
It's like you only do things for the money. It's really sad, man.
Yeah, man.
Bumming me out, bro.
What do you think about that? Would you? No, I don't.
What? Oh, it was Garth from Wayne's World when he's in all the endorsements. He's in a full Reebok outfit. And it hands up, and he's like, it's like people only do things for the money, man. But what do you think about the story?
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about being a ghostwriter or something, to that effect?
I think that is pretty tough because I don't know if I'd be okay with all right, yeah, I'll write you some stuff, just whatever, pay me. And then they come out and it's massive. And then you're like, it'd be weird to see that and then know you were a part of it.
And you can see the net revenue of being billions. It's they only paid me $100.
Well, I'm sure there's clauses in a contract over something like that, though.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's
that was the other thing. They also signed the agreement on the anonymity or whatever.
Anonymity. I'm having trouble saying it too.
Yeah.
Don't know how it's coming out.
It's like that fucking
everything.
What is it? Nemo.
Yeah, everything else I say is fucking mumbled as shit. So I guess I'm working on it. Unique, you know.
Wow.
Unique, New York.
Yeah. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was close.
Yeah. So, but yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Nico.
I feel like I could be anonymous, but then again, I can be fairly vain. So, I mean, if I would have to save myself by signing the contract, saying I will never say anything, no matter how fucking bitter I am.
Right.
Let me sign it, and then I'll just I want, X amount of money.
Have some whatever happens in the future, let me get some royalties of this percent or something at least to save your ass in the future.
It's like getting that one app on your phone when you're drinking, you don't want to text a certain girl or a guy or whatever. So you set it to I have to solve this equation to actually get access to my texting and stuff. Apparently it's a real app I heard about a few years ago. Yeah, to save people from drunk texting, people they shouldn't be drunk texting. I guess it'd be like that. Please, yes, I'll sign this. Give me money. I won't say anything. And I'll just be really upset if you guys hit the top 100 on the Billboard.
Yeah.
I didn't know Ghost was anonymous though. Fuck.
Yeah, they all wear masks and shit like that. Opposite of Chris.
I mean, apparently Dave Grohl played with them. No one knows when.
Shit. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of wild. Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl's the number one, dude.
For sure.
He's right up there with Post.
I think right up there with Post. I think he's above. He's in his own league.
Nah.
Yes. So I think, and obviously I just said I haven't written much or done too much, obviously, but I want to say the ghost writers are their choice typically too, though. It's not like the artist that's actually recording the hit or whatever it is, the song rather, because I don't know if it's going to be hit or not. It's not like they're saying like, hey, I need you to be a ghostwriter, because there's still a made up name. There's a pseudo name that they pick, like Taylor Swift was like Chelsea Glenn or something. I don't know. Not to be mistaken with Chelsea Grin. But she, that was her pseudo name that she decided to choose as a way to put it down for her ghostwriting. But I think that's the risk that they have to take, and they have to go, hey, I think I would think the reason for it would be to say, hey, if this song fucking bombs, I want my name not even close to associated with this.
Yeah, get it away from it.
But the risk is, if this song blows the fuck up, do I accept that I'm not going to get the credit for it? So that's like kind of outweigh those. Well, at that point, yes. If there is an agreement,
you have to make
the
agreement. It's a gamble. It's like, am I gonna, just go all in, or
I guess it's kind of like if the things that you can you don't trace it, but it comes like it's god damn it. It's like the shit that kids get, and it's like you just have to trace over the design, and then it's like, oh look, I made something.
Like
Do you know what I'm saying?
Connect the dots kind of thing.
Sort of, kind of. It's like
1 to 2, 3 to 4.
Tracing. Let's just say it's tracing. Yeah, like here's the design.
There's a source material, and you put your paper over it, and you can see through it, and you just go over it.
Yes, you trace over it, whatever, and then it's like, oh look, it popped off, and then I guess that artist should get credit, I suppose, if someone just traced over what they did. But I think it depends on how much are you ghostwriting? Are you writing are you composing everything, or are you just doing like riffs, a couple riffs, a solo, like
my old guitar instructor actually was a ghostwriter for a record company, but he worked under Sharon Osbourne, and so his repertoire looked amazing. That's why I chose him, and I was like, this is my first time actually taking a lesson, so I want someone that isn't going to just kind of milk, like sissy little, nuances and everything. I want to like a professional and see what it's like.
Yeah.
And he gave me so much insight on just not even just playing, just how the music scene went and why he doesn't do music anymore. He left that scene. He's a dentist and a realtor for tons of money and all that. And he's just kind of like, yeah, music just under Sharon Osbourne, screw her. She ruined everything for me. But he was a ghostwriter, and he wouldn't tell me what he wrote, but he did tell me that the intro to Guns N' Roses' "Welcome to the Jungle" was actually just a exercise he knew somebody in the studio who was also a ghostwriter would use as a warm-up exercise, and he just used that as he provided that riff, submitted it for Guns N' Roses.
Come on, man,
it.
We know Slash wrote that shit.
Yeah, why are you lying?
God, if you think about it, those guys
they're partying so hard at that rate that they couldn't write anything anymore. They had to rely on ghostwriters.
Do they just get a flat fee? Sorry.
A lot of times, I think that's how it is.
Okay.
Back then, when record labels were a big thing, people were on a salary for ghostwriting. You would just submit material like crazy, and then you would just have a producer with an artist going, let's listen through stuff and see what you like. And then they'll pick and choose riffs, melodies, everything, and just listen to it, and then pick and choose. The ghostwriters' names aren't credited or anything. It's just audio they're listening to at that point.
I mean, they could hire a session writer to come in and help write music. Especially country artists are notorious for it. It's most people are writing their shit. And nowadays, I think a lot of people are starting to accept the credit for it. I don't know. You guys probably don't listen to too much country. I did do whatever. And some of my favorite stuff that has come out, somebody else wrote it, but I really also like that artist. So I was like, it makes sense probably why I like this, because I typically wouldn't listen to this specific artist. But now that I know that so-and-so wrote it, and typically, they're writing mostly the words or maybe the melody with it. And I see that a lot, where the original artist will perform it, or at least the writer, rather, will perform it. And it's very similar in melody and structure, but it's different because somebody else obviously different recorded it. They did it in their own taste.
I only listen to real country, like T Swift.
Right.
So
that's what I'm talking about. I think some of my other favorite people have written T Swift songs.
Oh yeah, like who?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up, bud.
Yeah, because you don't know T Swift like me, dude. Okay, so don't be comparing.
So who's wrote her songs?
Okay, sorry.
Who has written her songs?
Do you remember that show called Ghost Rider in the early '90s, late '80s, when it was a bunch of kids, like a sitcom show with a bunch of kids, and they were like solve mysteries, and there would be this unknown presence that would type on their computer and be like, "I'm the Ghost Rider," and watch, you have to come. It was like a mystery kind of adventure show.
I don't think I ever saw that.
Oh.
Well, there goes your bit.
Yeah, it was a good show. I liked it quite a bit.
So, in other news, Tom Morello has gotten mad at people. I think Daniel was talking about this pre-show. He is basically came out and got kind of quote unquote mad with kids, saying, "I don't understand why kids right now or younger people, musicians, aren't practicing for 8 hours a day. Why are they not doing
that?"
Then
he circles back at the end of that whole article, and I was just kind of like, he knows what he's talking about, but he's just still pissed.
Yeah, it's silly. It's like so the article I saw was also like because these young people also need jobs. This isn't like the 80s when a lot of the other people started and were able to practice for so long. They have other things to do. They have to get jobs. They have to do this. They have to pay bills. What the fuck do you want them to do?
Also, the other thing is the multimedia aspect of sharing, spreading your stuff over the internet and all that. You just have to spend so much time doing that and not practice.
Realistically, if you can network and you have some type of niche, like you don't actually have to be good to get your shit out there. I mean, it's up to you. Do you want really technical, really awesome, really well-written shit? Or do you just want to be popular and get, subscribers on YouTube or to your Spotify playlist or whatever it is? Yeah. Actually, what is it that you want? Huh?
Yeah. Like speaking on that note, there's a guitar player that's phenomenal. And I only recently found him out only because Black Dahlia Murder picked him up, Brandon Ellis. His YouTube channel, it's like he puts out very short videos of him playing, but they're all really good.
Yeah.
Extremely short. But then I'm like, it's like, I don't know. It's like he could definitely do his own thing on YouTube, but he's just kind of like, I just like playing. Like, I don't want to record or, stage things or, do all that. I just want to play, So I think it for different, different folks, different strokes, it's that, for him, it's like he's so good that that's all he wants to do is to maintain that, articulate, accuracy and everything on playing rather than worrying about how do I record this? How do I make content? How do I make it entertaining?
Well, I come out like, God, I'm sorry.
Is Tom Morello like an extremely intricate guitar player, or is he just kind of one of those guys who's really innovative?
See, I think
very innovative.
That's really what I see.
No,
I think Tom Morello is really fucking talented at guitar, but he's not like.
Yes.
If I was to rank the guitar players that I listen to nowadays, including, I don't actively go out and seek Audio Slave or Rage Against the Machine or whatever, Rage Against the Machine or whatever this new project is called, something similar to Rage Against the Machine. I don't actively go and seek that, but I really enjoy the music. It's just not my thing that I want to listen to. Back in the day, I listened to a fuck ton of Audio Slave, but I also am a huge fan of Chris Cornell. Regardless, I think he's an extremely talented guitar player, but more or less, he's just innovative with what he can do with what he's got. Whether he has a lot or not a lot, he's very good at manipulating the guitar, which is a really cool thing, and manipulating his sounds. But I don't see where it's like, oh my God, you're a guitar fucking god. I don't think he is. I think he's very intelligent, very good at guitar, but he's not a guitar god. Not fucking Steve Vai. If Steve Vai said that, listen to him.
No. Steve Vai actually recognizes him. He adds a lot of nuance to music theory, and he's actually really smart on music theory. The thing is that he doesn't overshow it, like, very prominent notes and, that's like super obvious and stuff. He actually does a lot of subtlety in his music where it's like things might sound similar, but he just changes it up ever so slightly that the average listener just sounds like he's repeating things, but he's actually applying totally different notes and, what does he use? A lot of harmonics and stuff that he'll apply onto it that'll completely change his sound, but it's so broad and wide on how he makes his chords and stuff it'll throw off an average listener.
Yeah, it's
other guitar players can really appreciate him.
This us, well, not you guys, but like I'm speaking strictly for the 18-year-old musicians out there like myself. We need to stick together. I don't know what the fuck Tom Morello's talking about? How does he, where did this has to be some sort of publicity shit. Cause how could he ever know that these musicians aren't? Has he ever gone on YouTube and seen these like 9-year-old prodigies and how there's so many of them and how they'll kick your ass, dude?
You skipped a part of, they didn't have to train for that.
What?
They were born to be able to do that. They're prodigies.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, there no hard work whatsoever was put into that.
They didn't have to put as much hard work.
You give a fucking guitar to a 3-year-old and see how easy it is to get him into that shit. Good luck.
Yeah, I tried with my nephew. It didn't work.
It's impossible.
That's his thing, though. He said that, like I said, they're just looking for an easier route to become famous. That was a quote from him.
Yeah, that's his big complaint. Everyone's looking for an easy way out, and no one actually wants to put forth the effort.
But it's 2020. Like, if your goal is to get famous and you have a direct route to it, fucking take it. Like, if that's what you want.
Aggro, political son of a bitch is calling people out for getting attention. That's hilarious. Look at your guitar, buddy. Who needs attention? Okay.
Or arm the homeless.
Cut the shit. I think you're fine. I think you're fine. I think you should be okay with how your life is turning out. And if you don't think these kids who, there's so many musicians out there now and there's so much accessibility to music, I don't even know where this assumption would even come from. It doesn't make any sense. I understand you're seeing a lot of kids trying to cut corners and you hear all these SoundCloud assholes, who don't have talent, who just kind of buy a shitty beat and then just put some lyrics, put a little auto-tune, boom, bam, thank you, ma'am, done. Put your fucking terrible ass rap in like a triplet meter and think it's some brand new thing. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's like, that's been around forever, dude. Sorry. Yeah, I understand that for sure. But I don't really understand why he would rant like that. It's weird.
I think, overall an artist should make music for yourself. Just like a guy who's going to paint something. Again, I've bitched about it on the show before. Throwing paint on a piece of canvas or sheet, whatever the hell you call it. To me, it's not art. But if the artist thinks that's art, he or she is making that for themselves. That's not for me to decide what is good and not. That's just my opinion. However, the artist is making it for itself. So if a child at 18, I guess, or 20, whatever, if they make something and it's good and they like it, then that's what it is, in my opinion. The average person now doesn't even need an instrument, and you can get programmed guitars, programmed bass, have a mic for vocals, unless you want it instrumental. You can program really awesome sounding drums. And if it sounds good, it sounds good. Like that's how it all should be. So somebody may not even have to practice. If you can understand how notes work together in some form or fashion, you can program the whole fucking song. And if it sounds good, I don't care if you programmed it or not. Just give me something that sounds good if you want it for the masses or a specific audience. But all in all, again, it's for yourself. You make art for yourself. Yeah, I write shit, and I think recently I've just started sharing some stuff, obviously, because I don't write a lot either, but some stuff I've had just kind of in the back burner. I've had it just sitting here. It's a riff that I played over and over again. I got off my ass, I wrote it, and then I still was like, meh, I don't know. And then I'm like, fuck it. Who wants to hear it? Anybody want to hear this shit? Probably not, but I'm going to send it to you anyways, because I like it.
Check it out. Check it out. Art. You're welcome.
Tight.
How much? How much for that vapid piece of gorgeous art?
I think you're missing the whole point, dude. When I do art, it's for the moment. You catch the moment and you take it, man. And
but how much?
Your pleasure is my fee. You're welcome.
I want that on my wall, Nico. You don't understand.
$1,000.
Okay, sold.
Flat fee. Thank you. All right, cool.
So another really, I would think a much bigger guitar player, though. Maybe he's not a household name for some, like Tom Morello. Maybe he is. I mean, if you're into guitar and you're into musicians, you probably know him. But Mr. Brian May has made the news recently.
From Journey? No. Queen?
Yes, Queen's guitar player.
Right.
Waterboy over there kind of gave me a look like, who the fuck is that? But I didn't know.
Sorry, but the tea tastes a little funny at the end there. Gotcha. I think.
Brian May. So yeah, the guitar player of Queen. So headline reads this: guitar player of Queen.
Surprised you didn't explain that to me, asshole. Go ahead.
Oh, the guitar player of Queen. So Brian May tore his buttocks in a freak, wait for it, gardening accident.
Freak gardening.
Is that what he calls it? Fucking weirdo.
Is this like trying to like have tantric sex in your garden bed?
He literally tore his ass to shreds gardening.
Was he using like power tools or something? Like
I don't fucking know. I don't even think I read most of this article, but
using a hedge trimmer above his head and just kind of dropped it behind him and slid through his cheeks or something.
I'm desperately trying to figure out a scenario in which that, like, I can't think of. I mean, he's old, right? How old is he?
Yeah, he was
shit. He's
like 67.
But
Yeah,
usually
maybe.
people like pop their hips or fucking get some sort of like a hairline fracture, but tear his butthole apart. Like, how?
he
Did they
says,
tell you how it
and I
happened?
quote from his Instagram. Oh, I lost it. I managed to rip my gluteus maximus to shreds in a moment of over enthusiastic gardening. So I suddenly find myself in a hospital getting scanned to find out exactly how much damage I've done to myself. Turns out I did a thorough job. And as a couple of days ago, I won't be able to walk for a while or sleep without assistance because the pain is relentless.
So he pulled something in his butt muscle.
Yeah,
basically.
most likely.
Okay, this is a different story now.
Over
All the metaphors he's
enthusiastic
using.
Yeah.
gardening.
Oh, that's
I thought
funny.
that-
I guess
I thought it was
that's how
pretty
you
good.
got to clickbait it, I guess. How the fuck?
Brian Beard
This is pretty good.
wood chippers his butt into pieces.
He got too excited and put his butt in a wood chipper.
Yeah.
Brian May.
I got quiet for a second, and then I was like reading, and then he got
No,
excited and
it's
put
okay.
his butt in a wood chipper.
My cat is
man.
going crazy right now. 2 words, 1 number, Boyz 2 Men. All right. The album was late. It was called 2 because it was technically their 3rd album, but it was their second original release, because chronologically their second album that came out was a Christmas album, so that they were kind of annoyed, so they just called it 2, whatever. And that came out, I think, 94. Acapella group, Boyz 2 Men, infamous. I don't know. I don't even feel like I need to explain this, but yeah, that's the group. That's the album. I'm gonna hand this over to. What do you got? What do you think?
I'm going to go ahead and start. I don't think I've started too many of these album reviews, so I'm going to start and say this has been the worst week of my life listening to this stuff.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So I want to express that I started it off and I said, all right, I think it was like Tuesday-ish. You know, I'm sitting here, I'm working. I'm like, while I'm sitting here, don't really have any YouTube videos to watch. I'm going to throw on some Boyz 2 Men here. It's my homework for the week. And I listened to the first song and I was like, all right. And as about halfway through the second one, I started to experience some excruciating anxiety because I was so nervous and not wanting to get through the rest of the album. I was struggling. I made it to song 5 before I had to stop on Tuesday completely. And I actually didn't revisit it again until today because the thought of it gave me terrible anxiety. So my pointers on it, overall, I'll pull a Nico here. Overall mix was shit. But it is, to be fair, what, the 90s, roughly around that
94,
time?
94,
Right,
yeah.
so I can't say too much. It's 90s R&B. I get it. The mixes weren't the best. I'm also a metal guy. I like my mixes. I get it. I can't harp too much on that. There's a guy with a lower voice, a lower registered voice, or at least he tries to be in it. And it's some of the worst shit. Do you guys remember the song real quick? I want to backtrack a little bit here because I've been trying to remember the group and I should have looked it up before, send out a couple text messages. The how you like your eggs, fried or fertilized, or chocolate.
The turquoise Jeep.
Turquoise Jeep. Thank you. That's what I felt like. I really thought I was almost getting quote unquote Rick rolled here. Like, did Turquoise Jeep had to have copied them because that's exactly what it was, but a parody of
they're
a
just
Boyz 2
parody.
Men group. My God, the hey girl, you want to come and play with me? Take off.
You're talking
all
about when they
clothes.
do the talking thing.
Oh my
over
God,
the
talking
song.
or even singing. There was fuck. I really wish I remember what song it was. It might have been even the On Bended Knee, so one of their hits, I guess, because there's a music video for it.
Yeah.
And I actually have heard that song. The whole rest of this album, I was like, I'll recognize a few songs. Like, yeah, I'm a 90s baby. Like, yeah, I grew up with this shit. Like, you know, everybody loved this shit. Anytime Boyz 2 Men is on something, people lose their minds. And I'm like, I'm going to recognize some songs. And even out of the 3 hits, I think the only one I recognized was On Bended Knee. First
You
of all,
don't recognize, I'm sorry to interject real quick. I'll Make Love to You.
oh,
You
yes,
don't recognize
yes.
that?
I'm sorry, both of those. You're right. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
okay. I was
I
like
was reading
really
the official
confused.
music video and not the actual title of the song here.
Gotcha. Sorry, go
I'll
ahead.
Make Love to You. Yes, obviously, I recognize that first. It also comes before On Bended Knee. But the On Bended Knee, also the first of all, the lyrics are cringy as fuck. Either they're talking about fucking somebody or something that a 12-year-old would write to a girlfriend that just left him. And he has no idea what to do with his life. On Bended Knee is literally like, please God, I will get down on bended knee. Not on one bended knee, not on bended knees, on bended knee. And then Low Voice comes through and goes, I will never walk again.
Low Voice. That's his name.
It was
The baritone.
so fucking cringy. The music, like some of it, like the hits were probably good. And then there were some other ones where music wise for 90s R&B, it was okay. But then some things were just like, this is complete trash. There was one, fuck, man. I should have took notes. It was maybe Trying Times, or was it Trying Times? One of the songs, or maybe even Water Runs Dry.
Yeah.
There was a weird like hi-hat or something on the side that just kept going off that had no place in the song. And it was just annoying to piss on me. I really wish I remember what it was, but I was like, what is going on? Again, I thought I was listening to, at least Turquoise Jeep was entertaining because it's funny. I should have actually had you guys review that this week, but that's not what we're doing. But
Do they even have albums?
yeah.
I don't know.
No, because they're a parody band.
Cavity.
I thought they just did-
All
Trying to
this
fertilize.
chocolate in your mouth. So I tried. I was like, you know what? It's stuff I grew up on. I know my mother listened to this shit. It was all over TV and movies, especially throughout the 90s. There's still Boyz II Men shit in the 2000s, even probably some 2010. They're still somehow relevant to today. They're, a big act that's, doing a national anthem for a football game or some shit. And hearing those, I thought they were good vocalists. Unpopular opinion, I'm absolutely short. I don't get it. I'm not getting it. The low voice that's completely out of key with everybody else. There's not even my thoughts is if you got 4 dudes in a band, you're going to harmonize in some way. They're all in their own song. Each one of them are doing their own fucking thing. And because it's 4 dudes yelling together or singing rather, the thought is this must be harmony. No, it's not. There might be 1 or 2 guys harmonizing in there. The rest of them are singing their own fucking song in their own world. They went in and said, don't play anybody else's tracks. I'm going to do my line. This shit better work. Fix it up, producer. Because it doesn't work, especially Low Voice. I don't understand. It's like everybody's like, and the whining of the main, I think there's a main vocalist because he sounded the same on everyone. The whining vocals. It was really, really bad. So anyways, sorry to shit on this album. I did not enjoy it. I had extreme anxiety. Please never do that again. Daniel, I'll let you go and kick it off from here.
So I got in trouble at work because I fell asleep 3 times listening to this album.
You what?
I fell asleep at work listening to this album 3 times. Each time I tried to listen to it.
That's great.
I couldn't listen to it at work anymore.
I couldn't because I had anxiety really bad, so I was fucking amped.
Dude, like this gospel like barbershop quartet, like it's just too soothing. I just kept falling asleep.
Especially when it's like, hey girl, come here and take a
Hey, Will Bob.
Hey,
Get your ass over here, bitch.
I'm
I'm gonna get down on a knee and never walk
in my
again.
office chair, just. So that was kind of torturous. And then being at home, I think I did pass out maybe once or twice, and forgot where I was in the song list and everything. I don't know what I kept repeating to catch back up on. As far as anything notable, I was just like, I don't know, it's so mind numbing to me. Like I couldn't focus. Like it's just too calm, too soothing, and then I'm just lost.
Maybe that was the anxiety for me because I did
Maybe
my
you
very
were just
best to
losing
focus.
yourself, and you're like, I'm losing my mentality here.
Well, I was trying to find
What
the
is
good in it
happening?
because again, it is an extremely popular group, and it was very, very popular in the 90s. Obviously, they're again still relevant. I think I tried to find what is it. So I listened very intently, and I was losing it in all ways.
That's it, Daniel. That you were just falling asleep.
The fact that I fell asleep maybe 4 or 5 times listening to this album, each trying to give it a college try, and I'm just like, I can't do it.
So it's not something you would typically listen to, is what you're saying.
I found my bedtime music.
Right.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
exactly. You guys didn't. Okay, fine. I'll take it from here then. You guys did not like the first. What's the first song on the album?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay, perfect. You didn't like the arrangement they did with the instrumentals being like basically almost like scatting kind of a thing, where the bass line's like a guy go boom 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 boom, and then the drums is a guy going like ta ta, like with the snare and stuff.
It was too
You didn't
much.
like that at
It
all.
was too much.
It wasn't catchy. It wasn't driving you. It wasn't like upbeat, like making you just kind of like bob around a little bit.
No, it started
made you
giving
fall
me
the fuck
anxiety.
asleep. That is something that's worrisome, because there is nothing in this album that could ever trigger somebody to be anxious.
I think that's I was forced to listen.
And you were saying that the that they're just all doing their own thing, as you said. It's an a cappella group, man. They all cover different ranges, you maniac. And yes, they're harmonizing. A fucking lot.
They're tone deaf is what they are. A lot. Tone deaf. Because there's no harmony there. There's pretend harmony. We could all start singing right now and think that we're harmonizing, and we're not.
If you said like I didn't really like it, yes, but you're saying something that isn't even objectively correct at all. Like if it's not,
I thought they harmonized well myself.
What the fuck?
Bullshit.
It's Boyz to Men, you maniac.
Bullshit.
Yeah, they're pretty good at that.
I don't think I caught it again when you put
But then
voices,
you like Periphery singer. You think he's better?
Way better.
Oh my!
He's
God.
in a whole different league of his own.
Oh my God!
Now you know where you stand, Nico.
I know where he stands. Nowhere. He's got no ground to stand on anymore.
Unpopular opinion, but they suck.
Unpopular opinion.
They
Sorry,
suck.
go ahead.
There's a bunch of whining, and when you whine and put another whine, put 4 babies in a room together and have them cry at the same time, and tell me they're
I'd like to
fucking
meet a baby who can
harmonizing.
talk, hey girl.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 3 babies and
talented-ass
Darth
baby.
Vader in a room together, and tell me that they're harmonizing.
Check 1 2. Yeah. So no, that's perfect.
It might be you, Billy.
No,
So
it's
yeah,
not.
dude, no way.
I think you
no
guys
way.
might be tone deaf too if you think that's harmony, because it's not.
I could be tone deaf for sure, but there's no way.
I mean, I
their
definitely
popularity.
am, but that's still not harmony.
I'll make love to you. Get the fuck out. Like I know. Okay, so
It's
there are
flat.
a few songs
There was a lot of
that
flat
are.
singing. It was bad. Sorry.
Stop
go ahead.
it.
I'm done.
Stop it.
I'm done.
It's okay.
Just
I
don't
got you, I got
question
you.
me ever again.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Don't
Don't talk to me or my
question my
son.
authority. So no, there's a little bit there's some things that don't really hold up over time. I'll admit that for sure. Because before I suggested this, I've never listened to this album from beginning to end. I just wanted to get into another field
Genre
of music. Yes, exactly. And something I'm not even necessarily familiar with. Do I hate R&B? No. Do I love it? No. I'm very indifferent with it. But after listening to this, considering, it's from 1994, there are a couple of things that don't hold up. The music videos are insanely 90s. It's not necessarily like a kid's room in every 90s movies where it was just over the top filled with shit, that no kid actually had. It was more so like the the effects they had on, I can't remember the music video, but it had like a blur effect where it was like everything in the center was pretty focused, but then the edges were like kind of flared out and kind of blurry, like you couldn't see it. And it was just like, kind of like cocked angles, black and white, then to color. And like their clothes were hilarious. And every song was pretty much about a woman, which is fine. It's R&B. I understand.
Right.
It came off a little whiny when they do the talk shit over the music. Hey, baby, I'm going to love you to the day I die. Ooh, that was a bit like, okay, that just pulled me out for sure. Not a fan of this at all. But I thought it was to me, it was a breath of fresh air. I haven't listened to this kind of shit in a long time. And would it put me to sleep? For sure. Would it give me anxiety? You got to talk to a therapist, because that is so weird. That makes no sense to me.
That one's weird.
It's definitely, I liked it. I appreciated it. Will I listen to it again? Maybe. I would listen to Thank You right now. That shit is upbeat as fuck, and I appreciate it. But the stuff that's like very like soulful and kind of like it pulls on your heartstrings, I feel like I have to be like sad to appreciate those kind of songs. They're talking about like a missed love or something like that, or someone who left you or whatever, like A Booty Call at Midnight, which I'm pretty sure was one of their songs. But it was what I expected. It's 50 minutes, 13 songs. Hallelujah. Thank you. I appreciate a number of tracks that are short and under an hour. That's insane. Thank you. Bang for your buck, dude.
I had one little issue, as you're saying it was short. Could have been much shorter because a minute and a half intros of just a for a minute and a half on almost every single fucking song, maybe except for their videos. And I don't know if the official track is exactly the same as what's on the video. But yeah, it's so bad. Thank you though. I'll take it back a little bit. It was one of the better songs other than the hits that I know because I've heard it for years. Again, in multiple movies, TV shows, whatever. But Thank You was probably one of the better ones. I was like, all right, I could probably get through this. But again, by like halfway through the second song, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I really don't. I'm fucking struggling.
That's
here.
so interesting. I wonder if that has something.
It fucked me up so bad. I think that the anxiety was waiting for that fucking minute and a half intro to end. And then be like, where the fuck are they going to go with this? Am I going to get low voice with a whiny high or what's going to happen next? And I think it was just the anticipation of each.
A horrible past that was, you're
it sounded like I was trying to sing this shit. I was like, come on, guys. Like, I could do this. Like, I can do this. This is bad.
You need to go to an ear, nose, and throat doctor or something, bro. Whatever takes care of that.
Listen, here's what we're going to do. We are going to go vocalists this week. I'm going to save everybody, and we are going to finally get on the same page because if the three of us don't enjoy this album, then something's fucking wrong because it is an amazing album. I just said no vocals, fucker.
Oh, no vocals. Listen, I thought you said it is vocals.
Listen, I was about to make you go through that because I don't understand how you don't like the vocals, but it's fine. I'll rest my case later on that. Maybe the next album that I get. But we are going to jot this down. It is going to be an amazing time for everyone, I hope. Ola England's Master of the Universe, all instrumental album. It was an album that he put out last year, his debut solo album. For those of you who don't know, Ola England is a major YouTube influencer, guitar player. He has also been a part of the bands The Haunted, 6 Feet Under. What's his other bands? I'm blanking now. I'm on the spot.
I don't know this man.
What's his Haunted and what's his other big band? Fuck.
His band?
Yeah, he's got two bands. He's part of The Haunted, but he also has like his band. I can't fucking think of it.
Yeah, I only remember him helping At the Gates.
Is it fishing contest?
At the Gates, he was there. Feared.
But he didn't.
There we go.
That's his own. Yep.
So Feared, 6 Feet Under, The Haunted. Apparently a band called Facing Death, Subside, Scar Point. These were earlier things. He is not credited in any of the At the Gate stuff, so I wonder if he just kind of toured with them.
He filled in for touring. That's it.
I think he helped write a song. I could be wrong. I think he mentioned.
He
mentioned and not getting credited for it. Could be wrong.
I listened to The Haunted when I was like 14. Wow, I haven't heard that band name in so long.
But yeah, so
they suck.
His solo album is very similar to his bands, The Haunted and Feared, in a somewhat of that musical sense. But it's different. So one of the things I like about him is just he has this raw feel and a tone that I love. So I'm happy you guys are going to get to listen to this. I'm really surprised Daniel has listened to it because I know he would like it. And I've been telling him to listen to it for a while, so now he has to.
I think I did.
Maybe he did. Now you're gonna listen, know it, and talk about it. Nico, maybe do a little bit of research. The drummer is some anonymous guy. In all of his videos, he wears a mask of some sort.
I hate him.
But he's really fucking good. Anonymity. Yeah. So next week, Ola England's Master of the Universe. If you're confused on if you're looking at the right album, it's got a big fucking kitty cat on the front of it. So kitty cat, and then he's got another album cover as well. That's actually the real album cover, but people fucked with him, so he decided to put the kitty cat on the actual CD. But I liked it so much about the CD, vinyl, tab books that I'll never play because I'm terrible at guitar. But yeah, so that is that's the homework for the week.
Alrighty.
So I've got a piece of gear I want to talk about for a second here. A couple pieces actually. There's a company out there called Neural DSP, And Neural DSP is heavily known for their guitar amp simulators. So it's a plugin, so something you would use in your digital audio workstation, or DAW, if you will, that you could just plug your guitar basically straight into your interface, not worry about an amp at all, and hope to achieve a really awesome sound. And Neural DSP is one that has never failed to deliver on that. So they have their new plugin out called the Fortin Cali Suite. And basically it's a hot rodded Marshall-y plexi kind of sound, if you will. So like a high gain British amp sound. And it actually sounds really fucking good. The cool thing is the amp. So each amp pack that they come out with, they all look different. This thing's like fucking super white. And yeah, it has some real good tones. So the cool thing about Neural DSP is you can also load in your own cab sims. If you didn't know, I can tell you right now that cab sims will indeed really, really change the sound of what you're getting, more than you think it will. Probably more than the amp. Your amp's going to do a lot. It's your main tone, and then this is going to come in and really, really kick it up. But yeah, any questions about that? Do you understand?
Yeah, it's like you buy excuse me, you buy it, and then it like does it has like guitar. It's like a guitar
amp. Yep.
Yeah.
Daniel, have you seen anything on this yet?
No, I haven't kept up with it myself. Does look impressive, but I'm keeping my eye away because I still love my Kemper so much. So
the great thing. That's what sucks. That's what sucks about being a musician, because all you want is everything. We actually spent time one time on Neural DSP, the same company, brought out a Tosin Abasi version of the plugin that was tones that he would typically go for, and a Nolly Get Good, your favorite bass player from Periphery, tones that he would go after. And he is also a really talented guitar player, so they're all guitar amps. And they sounded fucking incredible, but Daniel was so hung up, like, I don't want to like this because I still love my Kemper, and I don't want to know that I could get awesome tones for $100 versus the money I spent on my Kemper.
The money I already spent on my Kemper.
So the difference, because now you're giving me a comparison, Kemper, the biggest difference is price, you're saying?
Price and
hardware.
And hardware.
Okay.
So Fortin or Neural DSP stuff is not hardware. So the Kempers are a piece of hardware that when we route in. Yeah. This you just plug straight into your computer from your guitar. So there's no hardware. I think
you were talking about this.
I may have spoken on them before.
Maybe the concept you were speaking about, but that's
I think I hint on the concept of amp sims. And it could be our lost episode.
100%, 100. Thank you. It is from the lost episode. Because I'm like, how do I know? I don't just know this by myself. Like, I definitely got this info from somebody.
I had to sit and listen to this and give a fuck.
Right, for sure.
I don't think I have that footage anymore.
How much is that thing?
The Kemper?
The other thing.
Neural.
The Fortin, they're around $99 to $120, give or take. I'm not sure how much this one is specifically.
That's wild. Fuck.
It doesn't say on the thing. I'd have to go to their website, which I'm sure it could, but
isn't it a bitch that like you get something dope as fuck and then it's completely irrelevant like 2 years later? You're like, oh,
that's why you have to be like Daniel. I give him shit, but he's smart, because if not, he'd be bankrupt. Like I'm on my way to, because something new comes out and I'm like, ooh, new shiny toy, and I want it, so I fucking get it, right? You know, that's what happens when you make adult fucking money. You just get every fucking thing. And it's stupid, because I have something that sounds just as good in a lot of people's opinions, or this could be something else. One of the reasons I got the Kemper was the convenience of just plugging in, not worried about an amp warming up or anything like that, and it wasn't loud. This is the exact same thing, but it's like one extra thing cut out, and I'd still just plug kind of straight in, but I don't have to route another cable, right? So it's just one less cable, really. It's just stupid, but they all do the same thing. It's just kind of pick your flavor. Which one do you like? Versus the other. Or the good thing about something like this, that if you are a younger person or somebody that can't afford a Kemper or an Axe Effects or anything like that, these plugins are fucking incredible. And you can get the tones that you want to achieve that these amp modelers are offering in plugins like this. Really, you could buy the whole suite and still not come close to what the amp modelers cost. I mean, these amp modelers are $1,800 plus, where each one of these plugins are $120. Catch them on sale. You could probably get every fucking plugin that they have for $600 or $700. And you have just all these variant amp tones but it's all within your computer. So wherever you go with your computer, not your computer and the Kemper, just your computer, you're rolling with all those tones. So, I mean, it's pretty tight. I love seeing it because now more and more people, like we talked about earlier, more and more people can create music very easily. So you don't necessarily need all this shit, or you don't need the whole band. You plug your shit in, you go. That's it.
I mean, we are now hitting the era of stay in your room, you know?
Fucking
home.
Right, right.
You know,
For the
don't need
bedroom
all that
musician, this shit is fucking incredible. Yeah, so I want to turn your attention to something really fucking cool.
We've watched this before.
We are going to talk about the Koto. It is a
You're loving this thing, aren't
Japanese
you?
traditional stringed instrument. And you guys don't necessarily have to listen to it now, but I do want to talk about it. There's something about this. It's kind of a harsh, not harsh, but it can be kind of harsh sounding in a way because you're picking on, essentially, I think these are Tetron. I can't remember what Tetron exactly is, but it's not
It's
like
a special
nylon
plastic.
strings. Yeah, I think you're right. It's not like nylon strings like you would find on like a classical guitar, and it's not what are steel strings or whatever is on an electric. I'm blanking here,
like
Daniel.
a piano or
Help me
a
out.
guitar. Okay, what do you mean? Like
What string materials on an electric guitar?
Well, you shut
Steel?
the fuck up for 2
Steel.
seconds. He'll be able to pick up your slack. God damn, boy.
Steel and nickel.
Right, there we go. Thank you.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah, it's
It reminds me of like what are those stand-up guitars? What are those called? Steel.
The lap guitar, or is it steel
It's
guitar?
like a fucking piano, bro. Like it stands on its own, and then you could sit on, like a piano, and you're fucking like going nuts picking up
Oh
that
yeah,
shit.
that'd about like be a lap guitar or a steel guitar kind of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
But it's made out of these Tetron or these plastic strings, and you basically tune it by sliding a peg left or right on it.
It's
to
like a violin
do the
saddle
tension.
or bridge.
I gotta watch this to get the understanding.
Please go to
Why
like
is this 23 minutes?
Please go to like 8 minutes. 8
Okay,
minutes
okay.
and listen to it. It's an Irish folk song. So the video I'm referencing, which I'll link in the description, is to another YouTuber named Rob Scallon, who at first I thought he just wrote really cool shit and did cool things. But now I'm seeing he's just like very musical, can pretty much play anything that you put in his fucking hands or show him for 2 minutes what you're doing and he'll fucking figure it out, especially stringed instruments.
Yeah.
He's fucking incredible with stringed instruments.
I really love his work with the Chicago church with the huge organ,
The pipe organ?
like throughout the
Oh,
entire the
fucking-
pipe organ throughout
absolutely.
the whole church. I was like, that makes me want to go there and visit that church just to sit in there and feel the experience where all
Jesus.
the tubes throughout the entire thing are just ringing.
Yeah, so he had this actual like Japanese lady come in and play this thing, and it sounds fucking beautiful. Play like an Irish folk song, and I think I played it probably 20 to 25 times
Holy
on
crap!
Monday
I
or
remember you
Tuesday.
were loving it when we first watched it together. I
Dude,
didn't
over
realize
and
you were.
over, it just chilled me the fuck out. Like, work sucks, whatever's going on, dude, it just chilled me the fuck out. And I almost like, it's almost like somebody's
That's your
rubbing my
heritage
back, dude.
coming back to you.
It almost
in
felt like
music
somebody's
form.
rubbing my
Music
back.
evokes a lot of emotions from Billy. Jesus Christ. It sounds like this thing sounds like a music box. Yeah, it sounds like a music box with a lullaby kind of programmed into it.
As she's
I like
playing,
it.
as she's playing this Irish folk song, I was getting like goosebumps. I felt like a chill. Like it was fucking insane. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love music. Yes, it invokes a lot, especially when it's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of everyone has their.
I would
their
listen
boner,
to
so.
this one lady played this instrument in one song for the rest of my life versus listening to even a minute of another Boyz II Men song.
Yeah, man, and that's your opinion, and
It's
you're
my opinion.
allowed to be
I
as
am
crazy as you
entitled.
want.
To my opinion.
This whole argument seems so out of place as I listen to this Koto Irish music.
Yeah, it's like, guys, can you like bring it down? Can we like
just
dim
chill?
the lights real
Kus
quick?
brava.
Yeah. It's like when your sub came in like hungover. He's like, all right, guys, we're going to watch a movie. We turn these lights off. Man, I feel like shit. All right, if you have any questions, fuck off. Yeah. No, I like this thing, dude. Koto. I wonder how much it's, might be handmade. I wonder how much it costs. That looks pretty,
We looked one up. It was like $1,200 for like a basic one.
I think we're
Oh,
finding
wow.
them some for sub $500, like used. I don't even know if they're playable. They're also gorgeous looking instruments. If you get a certain one, you have like carving, like they look like a giant Native American
Like a piece of
totem pole
art.
or something, but then there's like art and scriptures on the side of them. However, they're fucking just beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of wood with strings on it. Like, I wouldn't even care if one works, kind of, because I really want to play one. But
You would want to be able to play
but
the bitch,
if
yeah.
it just sits there, like literally leaned up instead of, you know, as a lap or on a bench, and it was just leaned up in the corner of my room, I fucking love it, dude. There's something about the way it just looks. It's awesome.
See, these things, like basically what's a guitar, but it's horizontal instead of like vertical when you're holding it. You know, it's like flat or whatever, and you can play. It's big, has some room. I can actually wrap my head around this way easier than I can playing a guitar. Like, there's no way.
You think?
But if I look down at it, I can see and I'm like, oh, this makes sense. But if like I'm holding it and the shit's vertical, and like I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
The cool
There's
thing
like
is,
a muscle
I can
memory
play
at that
this.
point.
the cool
Yeah,
thing is
this would be
too, it's
fun.
got 13 strings. So basically, instead of having to fret a note like you would on a guitar, your notes are kind of spread out there, and you just got to find your key, find what you're playing in, and those 13 strings you'll be able to play with a full song throughout. You're not going to write
that's
intricate shit, but you'll write some pretty cool shit out of it.
Dude,
you
let's
know?
make a Koto band right now. Let's
Dude,
order it.
I'm fucking down.
Let's go. dude.
100%.
And then I'll give up and have to sell it again.
You gotta get your drum, Nico. That electric taiko drum.
I'll get
Yes.
my electric taiko
yeah,
drum.
You get
We'll
like
get
a
Yes.
taiko.
We'll get the Koto. We'll get that big, the stupid horn thing we were looking at from a couple weeks ago.
The
What is it called?
automaton.
No,
The
the
automaton?
horn. It's like a kazoo. It's got a horn on it. It's
Oh,
like
right.
a kazoo,
Yeah, we're
kazoo,
just-
bazooba or some bullshit.
Cahorn. It's a kazorn.
Kazorn, whatever.
Kazorn.
Like, yeah, that
Kazorn.
thing. Dude,
Kazorn
we're about
for,
to make.
for
We're
the
about to
proper
make so
people.
many cents on Spotify. Or we'll be SoundCloud
Drowning in
Koto,
pennies.
Koto, Taiko. That'll be the name of the band, Koto
Koto
Taiko.
Taiko?
Make it one
Taiko
word.
I'm
TD.
fucking down, dude. Because we could, with those the Kotos too, we could set up one in a bass registry and one in a treble registry. So
Just all harmonies. and stuff.
we got the whole field of fucking music ready to fucking roll. And then with the Taiko, dude, it's over. And then Boyz II Men vocals playing in the background. We're fucking set, dude.
I'd make love to you. There's something else.
You.
Boom, boom, boom.
Hey baby, hey baby, I love you and stuff.
You wanna touch my anyways, so in other news, so for anybody that's listening to this or watching this on Wednesday, unfortunately it'll be too late, but I'm sure it'll be on their YouTube video. But for you guys' notice as well, PRS Experience was indeed canceled this year. But something cool that they're doing is a virtual PRS Experience now, which is pretty fucking tight. So there's going to be 2 sessions. I want to say one's at 1:30, 2:30. I'd have to check the YouTube. But again, for anybody that's listening to this, it'll already be done, but it should be up as that live video and then displayed on their YouTube channel. And then there is a video that Paul said he'll be putting out later that night. So again, it's Saturday night. He's going to be putting out a video later that night, talking to different artists kind of throughout the night. I don't think that's a live thing. I think that's going to be a pre-recorded thing that they put together. But some of my favorite artists on there, Dusty Waring, Mark Tremonti, Mark Holcomb. Pretty much those are my 3 PRS guys right there. Zach
Santana.
Myers, if you're a huge Shinedown fan, will be on there. I think Santana might be on there. I'm not sure. I didn't see him in the preview for it. But Paul put up a video and said, hey, this sucks. This was our 35th anniversary year. But we're going to do that. And then as far as the guitars that we would typically announce at the experience, we're going to announce those throughout the rest of the year and put those out. Because what sucks is you could typically walk into the experience, not only buy a guitar, but you could buy a guitar that is specific to the PRS experience. And this was going to be my first year going as well. I was planning on going. I think Daniel and another friend of ours was planning on going. So it sucks, but you know what? We got to do what we got to do. So I think it's cool. Again, another virtual setup that somebody's going to put out there. And then we'll go check it out. I think it's going to be awesome. Daniel, did you say you had some gear or anything?
Some hardware is something I wanted to check out.
Okay. What you got?
FU Tone came out with titanium tremolo inserts for Floyd Rose hardware.
You want to talk about FU Tone a little bit? I know about them, but somebody like Nico may not know who they are.
Yeah, I know. Billy might not know it. Go ahead. Explain it to Billy.
No, actually, I'm unfamiliar with FU Tone,
Oh.
to be honest. As far as accessories and stuff, that just popped up, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" I started looking at their catalog. I was like, why haven't I seen this before?"
So, to my knowledge, there are a couple of pretty heavily aftermarket parts companies out there. FU-Tone is one of them. And then especially being a PRS guy, I'm part of a forum. I see a lot of people putting Man-Made is literally the company name. I think it's MANNMADE. Correct me if I'm wrong. Man-Made bridges on their guitars. But FU-Tone is one of the biggest ones out there because it's American made. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would imagine if people are after it, it's going to be American made. It's an American made product that they're putting out. I think a lot of it is bridges and then saddle replacements and stuff like that, like you're talking about. Normally you're going to get a stainless steel or a nickel or something plated fucking bridge.
Pewter. And
it's going to be okay, but notes don't sustain as well. Tuning stability isn't as good. It's still going to be good. Don't get me wrong. If you're buying, a $5,000 PRS with fucking nickel or steel or pewter or whatever fucking
it just won't last.
Saddles on there, it'll be there, but it won't last, and it's just not going to be as good. I see a lot of people, bronze is one of the big materials I've been seeing a lot of people do. Didn't even know that was an option ever. So I'd like to do some more research into it too, but you're saying that they put out what now?
Titanium inserts for the saddles, and as well as the locking nuts for the Floyd Rose tremolo system.
I bet it's just going to add to it. It's just going to add a stability there or just even maybe it's peace of mind. But I imagine it's going to do something note-wise.
No, I played a guitar at Guitar Center where apparently there's this guy who keeps trading in hot rodded guitars, is what they call them. Like hot pickups and
I got a couple.
all the all the accessories you would want for speeding up everything. Even the zero resistance knob that Eddie Van Halen came out with for his volume knob, like on my Charvel. But yeah, the guy would also replace all those hardwares with titanium, and I didn't know who we got it from or anything. I was like, that sounds so cool. And as I played it, I was like, this thing's like rock solid. Like it's not going anywhere. Like everything I do to it sounds amazing. And I was wondering if it could, that contributed to it. They told me it's titanium parts. And after finding this, I was like, holy crap, I really want to look into this, but they're expensive. Holy crap.
Yeah. Again, I think it's USA made. I don't know. Man-made sounds to me like man-made, but I doubt they're hand-making steel pieces or bronze pieces or whatever.
Yeah, it's probably
maybe I'm wrong.
Cut.
I'm sure it's some machine though. I would imagine it's the way it's made or what parts are being used in the material, really. But he's a guy that comes around. There's a guy I think that owns it. I could be wrong again, but there's a guy that constantly comes to Island Music and does. I think it's FU Dave. Could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But I think it's FU Dave is his name. And he comes to Island a lot, and he always does like demos and stuff like that about the parts and everything. And Island is a big company that carries them. Island Music is a music store that's local to us in the southern part of Maryland.
Keith.
Go Keith, absolutely. So I'd like to do some more research. Maybe we could do something on that and talk about it. Maybe mod one of our guitars with it. Get some pieces and see what we could do. I do some gear reviews on this channel. So obviously we can be able to try to do a before and after maybe on some of these parts.
Can I mod something? What do
you
I
mod?
do?
You want to mod drum set?
I
can mod your drum set. I'll put something on it.
I want to. Never mind.
What do you want to mod?
I wanted to help or be a part of it or something. But I guess it's just guitar.
Once all this shit's over, we could definitely start obviously getting a lot more creative and do some cool shit and maybe even do it on the podcast. We'll just bore the fuck out of people with watch 20 minutes of us try to figure out what this fucking part is that we're about to install.
Fumble around, drop things, go, where did it go?
All right, the next episode, we'll finally drop it in.
You would subject people to making them watch us, like check out, like we watch us try to do something we don't know how to do.
Exactly. How awesome would that be?
I mean, I'd watch it, I suppose, and I'm in. I'm down.
We missed out on us figuring out soldering a pickup into a
guitar
God. That wasn't even made
Miserable.
for the pickup.
If anybody that watches this that wants to teach me how to install pickups, please, because that was the worst fucking thing I think I've ever done. And I don't want to pay people to do it anymore because it can get very pricey, especially when all you want to do is just change shit out constantly. Cool. I want to wrap up the show with one last thing. Our boys in Aluka have dropped a new single via Stasic Records. If you go to their YouTube It is. It brings all the heavies as you would expect. So they put out a single called Occam's Razor while back. I think we talked about it on the channel, didn't we? A couple months ago.
I don't think we did.
They put it out earlier this year. Maybe we just talked about it in some way, but they put out that single, I think, earlier this year, and they just dropped a new single. And I hope soon they're going to be announcing when the new album will be coming out. But they got a lyric video that, again, I saw it on Stay Sick Records YouTube page, which is labeled that they're currently signed to. And it's fucking brutal. I really, really like it. I like the way this album came out. They went with a different producer this time, or engineer, rather. I don't think the person had too much to write with, but they worked with the Noob Sastra. I know that much on this album. And I very much like him as a drummer, and he's a very smart dude when it comes to engineering with doing music stuff. So came out pretty awesome, pretty excited. So I'm talking about that today. Today's Friday. So for those of you who saw it on Wednesday, if you haven't heard it yet, go check it out. Give the boys a like on their page. That's Alukah. It's called Aluka, or something of that effect. I really don't know how to say their fucking name, but
Aluka,
dude,
is all I say.
listened to their last album when it came out, and the shit's fire, dude. If you want something that sounds good, is heavy, and has their own unique twist on, the genre in itself, you won't be disappointed.
Right.
I promise. And I don't like any new music, so check it out. It's fucking serious.
I think what I like about this, if you listen to them, you could definitely tell the growing period of them working together. Their very first thing that they put out was with a completely different drummer. I'm not sure if Danny recorded that first album with them or if it was
I don't know.
Jose. So the whole dynamic changed once Danny came in. It was a completely different type of drummer, and that's going to give you a whole different feel. Drums, drums and bass, the backbone of the band. They got a different bass player now. I think the guitar players are really, really starting to write better and tighter songs. And there's melody in this like death metal type band, which is pretty interesting to me. So, really enjoyed it. Hats off to them. They're doing great things, and it's really cool to see. For anybody that wouldn't know, Nico and I were in a band before. The vocalist of Aluka was our vocalist. His name is RJ. And while the rest of us were busy working, he just kept playing. And this is a new band. Pretty awesome.
Killing it. On fire.
Killing it. Other than that, I think that does it for us today. I want to thank everybody who has watched the videos, listened to it, subscribed, and shared. We are, as of this filming this, we're up to 80. So let's see if we can't push it to 100. It's 20 more. I think
That's
we
a
can
smart
do
thing
it.
to say at the end of the episode, but go ahead, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so if you guys could keep sharing it, keep liking, keep commenting. Damn, I can't say commenting. I did this last week too.
What?
Commenting.
Oh, say it slow, bro.
Keep commenting on our
There you
stuff.
go.
I really appreciate
there.
it. To anybody that has texted us, hit up our Instagram. We're on Instagram now. At the Backline Pod.
Check it out.
Cool. Check it out there. We'll occasionally post, do some lives on there. We're gonna get better with it. I apologize, but thank you to everybody else and everything you guys do. We appreciate it. I'm Chief Redbeard, Billy, signing out.
Real bad.
Nico.
Yeah, cool. All right, guys. Thank you. Have a great night, day, whatever time you watch this. Bye.